And in 2020, we started thinking like, why not apply everything that we know from verifying people to business verification? How crazy would it be if we create a solution that is able to verify a business, all its owners, scan through all the sanctions lists, all in under 30 seconds? That would be crazy. That's unheard of. But now the vision is growing even bigger, because after testing a lot of onboarding solutions, such as Revolut, Wise, Binance, we discovered that it's becoming so much more than just AML compliance and being compliant. It's more about cost-efficient, fast onboarding of customers.
Julia.
Chris.
Thank you so much for coming. It's great meeting you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get started. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Julia Ront. I'm the founder and CEO of Vespia. We are a Regtech company, and our core business is we verify companies. And also, we're in the process of building a new digital identity for companies.
Right.
My background is business verification, identity verification. I was an early core team member of Veriff, an identity verification unicorn from Estonia.
Yep.
And also, I'm a big Star Wars and Batman enthusiast. So some hints of it you can actually see in our Vespia brand as well.
Right.
And as a female founder, I really like supporting different projects that motivate, engage females to get more involved in Regtech and tech and startups.
Okay. All right. So there's a lot of there. So we'll be touching on some of those things that you've just introduced. But before we do that, tell us what's Vespia's core value proposition and what's the problem that it's solving in the market.
So Vespia started as a business verification / AML compliance solution. Our core vision for it was that we want to make business verification super accessible, easy, even mainstream, if I can say it that way. Because when COVID hit, a lot of the businesses started going online. And they discovered that in order to onboard and verify their customers, they cannot really meet face-to-face with them anymore and travel somewhere, right? And actually see, is there a real warehouse? Is there a real office? Is there a real person behind this piece of paper of a company? So they realized that they need some sort of an automated way of onboarding and verifying business customers, partners, investors, suppliers, you name it. Everybody needs verification. So we thought that it's going to be just an automated, accessible, cheap product that anybody could use. Either you're a compliance officer or a one-woman CEO that needs to onboard some investors, for example. But now the vision is growing even bigger, because after testing a lot of onboarding solutions, such as Revolut, Wise, Binance, we discovered that it's becoming so much more than just AML compliance and being compliant. It's more about cost-efficient, fast onboarding of customers. Because on average, it can take anything up from 2 weeks to 4 months to just verify and onboard one business customer and open an account to them.
That's in Estonia or
anywhere?
Okay.
If you look at the process of Binance, you need to upload 25 documents, you need to wait for a few months, and their customer support also will ping you saying that something is wrong with your application, please attach more documents, we don't understand, etc. So we were thinking like how to solve this problem of slow onboarding, and discovered that a digital identity for businesses would be a perfect solution, because whenever you want to open an account, you can just show the Vespia passport, we call it Vespia passport, and you get onboarded in a matter of seconds. It's going to be pre-verified information that is always up to date. And the second use case that we're trying to solve is monitoring. So once you have a Binance account, you're finally onboarded, you're happy, you have your account, they keep pinging you with questions every few months or so, because they need to monitor the business relationship and keep an eye on you, right? Has anything changed in your company? please attach more documents, have you moved, etc. And this is with many platforms, Binance, Stripe. I'm receiving these emails constantly. So with Vespia Passport, this will solve this issue as well, because the information will be always up to date, and those platforms will be able to just pull the information from the passport, and you will always be verified.
Okay, wow. So I'm going to tell you what just happened. You've just made me aware of a problem that I didn't know existed, and you just made me aware of a solution. And this is really cool. So let me just ask a few more things about the problematic. So if I think about countries that have a digital ID for citizens, Estonia, the Nordics, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, most of the processes that you go through as a citizen are validated because you have a state-issued digital ID. Now, when you open a business, you also have to register with the state. Now, am I understanding correctly that registration would be a VAT number or a CPR in Denmark or whatever it's called, it's not sufficient to keep tabs on the authenticity of a business?
That is correct. In many countries, as most of the countries, I mean, we Europeans, we're used to this convenience, especially we Estonians, that we have a commercial register, we register there, everything's super fast, we can verify ourselves using a registration code or, as you said, VAT number. But it is a problem for many other jurisdictions outside of Europe. There are so many gaps in the data. Commercial registers basically have nothing, but pulling information from commercial register is just a must. It's just because the law says that you need to pull information from there. But the value of that information is close to zero, honestly.
Right.
Because, you will not find a lot of ownership information, like anything useful in most commercial registers is missing. So what method we are trying to use in order to solve this, because early on we discovered that there are gaps in the data. You cannot just base your decision purely on something from a commercial register. Yeah. So we are actually involving the companies themselves into the verification process. Right. And asking them those questions and motivating them to provide us more information. When it comes to commercial registers, companies are not motivated to provide too much information. They're providing usually the bare minimum, right? Because they're not getting rewarded. It's just, nothing like that. So we actually are in the process of creating this reward system, Web3 ecosystem, where you will be able to earn rewards, tokens, NFTs, you name it. Still thinking about it. If you provide more information, you will earn more rewards, and you will be earning also a reputation. So other companies in this ecosystem will see that you are a reputable business, and you are super transparent and providing all this information. This is how we're trying to solve the issues. You would think that the commercial register is a legitimate source. It is, absolutely. It's a governmental source. However, the original source, who is providing this information into the commercial register, is the business itself. Yeah. So we're trying to remove the middleman and just go straight to the original source, the business.
Wow, it is interesting. In the conversations that we've been having recently, we keep hearing that transparency is basically becoming the currency of trust. And I think it's very much needed. Now, help me understand, how is it that you authenticate the validity of these organizations? What type of information do you ask them to provide, and how do you verify that what they're providing is legitimate?
Yes, so we provide, we go by the rule that it's better to get more information than less, and we always compare it. It's all about comparison to the sources that are out there. So, and also the law, of course, AML law requires you to actually have those sources, the commercial registers, the PEP sanctions lists, databases. All these things are included in the Vespia solution, and we have them running in the background and always comparing this information. Also, the cool thing about Vespia is we're actually doing data enrichment. We're using a lot of alternative sources that nobody else is using. I'm talking social media. You know, you can find a lot of cool information on LinkedIn about the founders and what they're actually up to. Right. Also, location information. We're using crypto wallet information, blockchain information. So, and we're combining it all into one overview of a company. And the customers who need to verify this company, they look at it and they make a decision.
Right. Okay. Now, help me. I get to ask the obvious questions, and that's because this is brand new to me. But why do we need to verify companies?
Yeah, that's we get that a lot.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, it was like a VIP club. What is business verification? What is compliance in general? It was like a playground only for the banks and some sort of a obligation of the financial institutions, and nobody else cared about it. And then anti-money laundering regulations changed. For example, crypto was added to the list of obligated.
Yeah.
So crypto is currently very, very monitored. And they have become very sophisticated, I must say, with their AML policies. So that's very good. So it's one thing is the obligation. So there are a lot of industries that are obligated to verify business customers when onboarding them and when maintaining that relationship with the businesses. So yeah, whenever you onboard business customer, business partner, investor, supplier, any sort of counterparty that is a business, for many businesses it's a must, it's an obligation. However, I mentioned that we discovered early on that it's becoming more than just an obligation. It's more about trust.
Yeah.
So at some point we started having these conversations with such industries as the sharing economy, onboarding drivers, couriers, property, Airbnb. I'm talking booking.com with some fake hotel listings on the, there were some scandals there. Yes, all these entities, participants of these ecosystems are oftentimes business entities.
Yeah.
And for the business owners who need to verify them, they don't need to actually verify them. They just want to, because they want to trust. They want to know who they're dealing with in order to avoid any sort of problems.
Right. I can see that the regulatory part, you have to do it, and it's compliance, you must do it. But what I understand that you're saying now is that there's a business incentive for companies to voluntarily provide more information because it raises their level of transparency, and that positions them as a trusted partner for customers and other organizations that they deal with, right? So when you talk about rewarding them, I think intrinsically there's already a reward that should encourage them to be open and to participate. Tell me a little bit about the risk that you undertake as being the stamp of approval that says, yes, this is a business that you can confidently deal with.
Yes. The thing is that we are the ones who do everything in our power to provide you with information and an overview that will allow you to make a decision regarding a company.
Right.
But we are not the ones who are making the final decision.
Right.
We are just making everything in our power, using AI actually as well, to make your decision-making process smooth and easy and fast.
Right.
But the final decision is always up to you, because we don't know your risk appetite in terms of are you willing to take a risk with this company, with this business deal. So the final decision always up to you.
All right, and so tell me more about how you use AI to compile that information and then to put it together.
A few years ago, there was this trend in our business verification industry that everybody was trying to be an aggregator of data. So it was all about who has the most sources, who has the most integrations to different commercial registers. But we found early on that this is not the road we want to take, because we don't like this concept of, having a lot of registers, having a lot of databases connected to us, compiling this data and just throwing at the customer and let them figure it out.
Right.
If you order a report from like an investigation company of sort or an auditing firm of sort, it will take them a few months to verify a company, and they will provide you with a report on like 150, 200 pages, and it will take you probably months to analyze this whole data and make a decision. Right. By that time, the deal most likely is already gone. So, or maybe the conditions will change for that deal. So it's all about efficiency. And what our AI allows you to do is make a decision whether you want to work with this company or not in under 30 seconds. Okay. So we highlight all the risks connected to this company, how old the company is, who are the people inside it, anybody sanctioned or maybe politically exposed person, etc. We also do risk scoring, so we provide general scores to all the risks associated with the company. Mm-hmm. And also the cool thing, again, about us that we do that nobody else is doing, we provide industry analysis. So we do data reasoning because, for example, in the construction sector and in the financial sector, these are two different sectors. Mm-hmm. There are different risk factors there. You cannot just, take two companies out of them and just compare them. They're not uncomparable. Right. So we actually provide an overview of the industry and what are the typical risk factors there. Mm-hmm. In the construction, for example, when you're verifying a construction business, what is the oldest building that they have built, for example? Or we did this campaign where we verified a bunch of non-profit organizations, mm-hmm. and we found that a big risk factor is where is the money actually going? How much is being spent on the actual people of Ukraine, for example, and how much is spent in the actual non-profit inside it for the operational costs. Yeah. So all these industry factors we take into consideration. And again, we do data enrichment. We involve a lot of alternative sources and social media, location information, blockchain information, and another thing is predictive analysis. So we really want our AI to show you what will happen with this company in a few years. Because in the moment, maybe the deal is very appealing, but in a few years, maybe the company is actually, bankrupt, and you're stuck with a contract.
Wow, that's fascinating that you can do all those things with technology these days. Now, help me understand. We know that digitalization is basically opening an entirely new realm for criminals to operate and to fool the system. You talked earlier about hotels that don't exist and the sharing economy having a lot of incidents about this. What other things should we be aware that are currently in the works that perhaps and financial crime that are becoming more sophisticated thanks to digitalization?
Well, we need to keep in mind that there will always be some sort of a small percentage of money laundering and fraud. Hate to burst that bubble, but it's the fact. Yeah. And I would say that these days it's not so much about money laundering, because oftentimes it is an inside job of sort or some sort of inside factors that mm-hmm. have contributed to this money laundering scandal of sort. So these are usually planned activities. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, the technology is so advanced that it's highly unlikely that some sort of a hacker will hack into a bank and steal some money. Mm-hmm. The technology these days is very advanced. I would say it's more about the regulatory aspect. It's a higher chance of you getting fined for not doing enough AML. Mm-hmm. Just recently, there was a scandal with Robinhood, who was fined for $30 million for not having enough AML processes and policies. Yeah. So, it's a higher chance of you getting fined for not doing enough than actually getting scammed. This is in terms of like the bigger industries, bigger businesses. I would say like the biggest issue I see at the moment is the lack of data mm-hmm. and the companies not being motivated to provide too much data. Right. I see that's the biggest challenge. Maybe we're being a bit naive with Vespia, but honestly, from our experience, we see that most of the companies, they do want to be transparent mm-hmm. If they're getting something in return. If it results in an open account, getting onboarded to a platform of sorts, starting a business relationship, then they're willing and able to provide all the information. I'm sure that, Binance has more information about companies than a commercial register of sorts.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And at the same time, because you're providing a differentiator that makes them more competitive, and you're driving more competition in the market. Now, let's shift gears a little bit. You, as a founder, you could have chosen any field to go in. Why did you choose to go into business verification? What attracted you from that area? Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, my first verification experience was in Veriff, so verifying people. Mm-hmm. And after that, I just started exploring other possibilities, and I fell into business verification. Mm-hmm. By that time, it was still in its baby shoes, I would say, and nobody fully knew what it is. Why would you need to onboard and verify businesses? And it was quite still manual and expensive and slow, and a lot of paperwork and etc. And I met with my co-founder Anton, and in 2020 we started thinking like, what if we apply, because he's also familiar with identity verification, digital identities, verification of people, and we thought, why not apply everything that we know from verifying people to business verification? How crazy would it be if we create a solution that is able to verify a business, all its owners, scan through all the sanctions lists, all in under 30 seconds? That would be crazy. That's unheard of. Right.
You mentioned at the very beginning that you're a big Star Wars fan and a big Batman fan. Am I imagining things if I try to make some correlation between fighting crime and fighting business crime, and then your passion for science fiction and
So Star Wars, honestly, it taught me that when it comes to building startups, businesses, tech products, sky is the limit, or the universe is endless, if we can say it like that. I didn't want Vespia to be another old school dinosaur type of solution. Mm-hmm. In Regtech, it's always the threat that you can get stuck in this loop of reinventing the wheel. Mm-hmm. Because oftentimes you come from this traditional background of banking and auditing and legal, and you have this mindset of what is possible today and only today in the scope of the regulations and of the law. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Vespia, we immediately decided that, hey, okay, let's of course follow the regulations and create a solution for AML compliance, etc. But also let's build the future. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we want to go to Mars. We want to verify colonies and businesses on Mars with Elon. This is the vision, this is the dream. And it's so cool that it actually is resonating with people. I was quite nervous, honestly, because Vespia is pretty much out there. Regtech is still very sophisticated, professional, suit wearing, but Vespia is pretty much out there. You can see it from our website, like the eyes, inspiration from Batman, actually. Mm-hmm. The eyes.
Right.
Yes. So I was a bit nervous, but we didn't want to sacrifice our real core, because that's essentially who we are. We wanted Vespia to be this approachable, fun, but at the same time professional brand. And it's very cool. And the superhero theme is really resonating with potential hires, I must say, like people really coming to interviews with us and immediately talking about, I want to be a superhero. They already know their superpowers that they mentioned during interviews. It's very cool to see.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned hires, because that correlates to the next question I have. You're based in Estonia. We know it's an extremely ambitious nation, but it's still a tiny market with perhaps some limitations with regards to talent. So what challenges have you found in recruiting the right talent for your organization?
We are a fully remote team. We have no office at the moment. Still thinking whether we need one, actually. We're currently a team of 15 people from Ukraine, Finland, Spain, Estonia. We have a guy in Turkey as well, actually. Yes, so we're all over the place. So we have not found it super challenging to hire new talents, because just whenever we put out this Vespia logo out there, people just keep coming.
I find it so inspiring when companies like yourself, they come and just you completely smash status quo, and you think like, well, yeah, why do you need offices? And then we tend not to think about it because that's the way it's always been done. So that's always very exciting to hear. Now, your company is young. You've been around for a couple of years, and you're tackling a big problem. So you have huge ambitions, which we thoroughly admire. What has been so far the achievement that you're most proud of in your journey?
I believe that the biggest achievement is yet to come, honestly. But so far, just launching the Vespia brand and surrounding ourselves with these cool early adopters from different industries, onboarding the first 200 businesses to our solution. It has been very cool. One thing also is we did this, hosted an event together with Binance, which was a big honor for us because they are our dream customer. We really want to improve their onboarding flow. We really want to do that. Right. So yes, we hosted an event, a panel discussion with them, talking about crypto regulations. Also, we started a cooperation with e-Residency of Estonia. Again, amazing people, amazing brands. And in terms of the future milestones include launching the first version of the Vespia passport. We're currently doing a few pilots, and probably in Q4 of this year, you will see the first versions of the passport. And probably in a year or two, we will start issuing the actual Vespia passports, the live versions of it, and onboarding early adopters.
All right, and tell me a little bit just briefly about your business model.
So we actually took some inspiration from Wise. They really inspired us because before them, it was pretty unheard of that money transfer can be so cheap and easy. So we also introduced a pay-as-you-go concept to business verification, which is quite revolutionary. Nobody else is doing it. Usually you need to, pay per module, you need to get 5 modules of a solution, you need to integrate them all. It's expensive and slow. So with us, you can just register in Vespia dashboard, add your credit card, and you can start using it immediately. And you will see all the prices inside the solution. We're super transparent regarding pricing and how they are created, actually. So we take the original database fee plus a small commission on top.
Right.
And for those who want something extra, want integration, and want to put their logos into some sort of a custom flow, then we do provide the enterprise packaging as well. Okay.
Just to close, you've given us your vision for Mars. If we bring that a little bit closer to, let's say, 2025, where do you hope to be in 2025, and what role will Vespia play in the overall fintech ecosystem?
Yes, let's think big here. Becoming a unicorn, or almost a unicorn by that time. So we have 3 years. I think it's realistic. I think we can make it happen. So one thing is that we really want millions and millions of businesses using the Vespia passport. So that is a big one that we want. Also, yes, on our way of becoming a unicorn. And my personal goal as a female founder, I really want to be a female founder of a unicorn in Estonia. Because do you know that there are 10 unicorns?
We've been talking about that.
All are male founded.
Okay.
Brilliant guys, brilliant startups. But I really want more of us girls to be heading the unicorns of Estonia.
Right. Well, I have to say, it's always inspiring to listen to ambitions like that, people who think big and who have the ambition to carry those things through. So thank you so much for coming and sharing that with us.
Thank you, Chris.
It's been really nice meeting you.
Thank you.